Welcome to our Trump Briefing program. Today, we dive into the latest happenings from around the globe and right here at home. First up, Chinese President Xi Jinping is making waves in Cambodia, wrapping up a three-nation Southeast Asia tour aimed at bolstering ties with this key ally. With 37 agreements signed, Xi is positioning China as a steadfast partner amidst global trade tensions, especially those stirred up by the U.S. tariffs. In domestic news, the Trump administration is stirring up controversy with a draft budget plan that proposes deep cuts across federal health programs. The proposal, which is part of preparations for the 2026 fiscal year, could see significant reductions in funding for agencies like the FDA and CDC. Critics are raising alarms about the potential impact on public health as the administration pushes forward with its budgetary goals. Lastly, in a bizarre twist, a U.S. citizen named Lisa Anderson received an email from the Department of Homeland Security instructing her to leave the country. Initially thinking it was spam, she now faces uncertainty about her citizenship status. This incident highlights the ongoing challenges and confusion surrounding immigration policies under the Trump administration. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star reports on Chinese President Xi Jinping's recent visit to Cambodia, marking his first trip since 2016 as part of a three-nation Southeast Asian tour that also included Vietnam and Malaysia. This visit underscores China's growing influence in the region, bolstered by significant economic ties. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet praised China as an important and indispensable friend, highlighting Beijing's role in supporting the country's development. Upon arrival, she emphasized Cambodia's importance in China's neighborhood diplomacy and discussed trade, particularly in light of the high tariffs imposed by the U.S. on Cambodian exports. The visit coincides with the 50th anniversary of the Khmer Rouge takeover, a historical connection that remains sensitive yet largely unaddressed in current diplomatic conversations. The Associated Press reveals that the Trump administration is preparing a draft budget that proposes deep cuts across federal health programs, signaling a shift in priorities as it approaches the 2026 fiscal year. The proposed budget would drastically reduce funding for the Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, with the latter's core budget potentially slashed from over $9 billion to about $5 billion. This plan, still in preliminary stages, reflects the administration's intent to streamline government operations, possibly leading to mass firings and the transfer of responsibilities to state agencies, a move that raises concerns about the future of public health initiatives and oversight. Yahoo US discusses a contentious legal case involving Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Legal experts warned that the ongoing standoff between federal courts and the Trump administration could escalate into a constitutional crisis if the administration continues to disregard court orders. A federal judge has ordered expedited discovery to explore the government's compliance with an order to facilitate Garcia's return, amid claims that he is being held in an El Salvador prison under dubious circumstances. The administration's resistance to court directives and its characterization of Garcia as a gang member complicate the situation further, as legal scholars note that this case could set a precedent for judicial-executive conflicts in the future, potentially leading to contempt proceedings against officials. The Independent reports a shocking incident involving Lisa Anderson, a doctor from Connecticut, who received an alarming email from the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, instructing her to leave the United States, despite being a born citizen. Initially dismissing the email as spam, Anderson was taken aback by its threatening tone and the realization that her contact information might have been mistakenly included in a mass communication targeting non-citizens. Concerned for her safety, she began carrying her passport at all times and sought legal assistance, fearing that other citizens might also be unaware of similar issues. This incident highlights the potential for bureaucratic errors within the immigration system, especially amidst the Trump administration's aggressive deportation policies. Yahoo US discusses the impact of rising tariff fears on consumer behavior, particularly in the footwear industry. As consumers anticipate price hikes due to impending tariffs, foot traffic in shoe stores surged by 4.03% in a recent week, reflecting a broader trend of stockpiling goods in advance of potential increases. Analysts noted that this spike is not indicative of economic strength but rather a response to uncertainty in the market. Retail sales data showed a general uptick, yet concerns linger about the sustainability of this demand as consumers react strategically to the evolving landscape of tariffs and trade policies under the Trump administration. In another report from The Independent, Sebastian Gorka, a key figure in the Trump administration's counterterrorism efforts, controversially suggested that Americans who oppose the president's immigration policies could be seen as supporting terrorism. His remarks came in the context of the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran man mistakenly removed from the U.S. and sent to a dangerous prison in El Salvador. Gorka's statements reflect a broader narrative within the administration that frames immigration advocates as threats to national security. Despite the administration's claims about Abrego Garcia's alleged criminal ties, his family and legal representatives vehemently deny these allegations, emphasizing the humanitarian aspects of his case and the administrative errors that led to his deportation. The situation has sparked significant backlash and legal challenges, highlighting the complexities and human cost of current immigration policies. The Independent reports on Representative Elise Stefanik, a prominent MAGA supporter and potential candidate for New York governor. At just 40 years old, Stefanik has garnered significant backing from Donald Trump and Republican donors, positioning herself as a strong contender against Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul. Despite a recent setback when Trump withdrew her nomination for a UN ambassador role, Stefanik remains steadfast in her loyalty to Trump, claiming to be one of his closest allies in Congress. Political analysts note that her entrance into the gubernatorial race could create tensions with fellow Republican Representative Mike Lawler, who is also considering a run. Stefanik's political evolution from a moderate to a right-wing figure reflects the broader shift within the GOP, and her outspoken support for Israel highlights her commitment to key issues within the party. CNN highlights Ford's warning to dealers about potential price increases due to President Trump's tariffs on imported cars. The 25% tariffs, enacted in early April, could lead to higher vehicle costs for consumers as Ford anticipates passing on these expenses in future pricing adjustments. While the company reassures customers that current inventory prices will remain stable, the looming tariff situation poses challenges for both automakers and buyers. Experts suggest that the tariffs could significantly inflate the cost of building or importing vehicles, further complicating the market dynamics. As consumers rush to make purchases before potential price hikes, Ford has introduced employee pricing discounts to alleviate concerns, yet the uncertainty surrounding tariffs continues to loom over the automotive industry. The South China Morning Post reports on a notable shift in American attitudes towards China, as a recent Pew Research survey reveals a decline in the percentage of Americans viewing China as an enemy. For the first time in 5 years, the share of respondents with very unfavorable views towards China has dropped by 10 points, signaling a softening of sentiments amidst ongoing geopolitical tensions. While 77% of Americans still hold negative views, the intensity of these feelings has lessened, particularly among Republicans. The survey indicates that many now see China more as a competitor than an outright adversary. This change may reflect a temporary easing of tensions, as Americans reassess their perceptions of global power dynamics, particularly in light of shifting views on economic leadership between the U.S. and China. The Independent reports on the emotional turmoil of Mike Lindell, the MyPillow CEO and staunch supporter of Donald Trump, who recently broke down in tears during a court hearing. Lindell, facing a court-ordered fine of $50,000 due to false claims about the 2020 election and its impact on voting software company Smartmatic, told the judge he is in ruins and lacks the funds to pay even a fraction of the amount owed. He lamented his financial situation, stating he has borrowed all he can, and is left with only 2 houses being liquidated and a truck. This financial distress has led to significant layoffs at MyPillow, with Lindell admitting to having over $70 million in back payments owed to the IRS. As he faces multiple lawsuits, including a staggering $1.3 billion defamation suit from Dominion Voting Systems, Lindell insists he will not be silenced and is committed to advocating for paper ballots and against voting machines, claiming systemic corruption in the election process. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Got a got the facts in one great place, for kids and grown-ups too.